Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on managing parts, suppliers, ordering, and reporting in Antero. My name is Emily. I am on the customer success team and support team, and I will be hosting today's webinar. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll dive into several key areas of the Antero maintenance data management system that are crucial for effective inventory control and maintenance tracking. Our topics today include how parts are used on work orders, Antero's reordering parts feature, managing your suppliers, the ordering process within Antero, understanding the parts audit trail, and finally exploring the parts reports available. Let's get started. So first, let's talk about parts on work orders. In Antero, you can associate parts used directly with a work order. This is typically done within the work order viewer section. We can find the work order by navigating to Work Management, selecting the work order, and pulling up the work order viewer. The work order viewer is where users can view and interact with individual work orders. It allows you to enter information related to the completion of a task. Cost-based information such as parts usage can be tracked here. Users can add or update information for parts assigned to each work order. When you're in the work order viewer and adding completed information for a work order, you can specify the parts used. When a work order is moved to review, parts attached to the work order are adjusted in inventory. So down here on the work order viewer, if you click on the second tab, you'll find the parts section where you can see that I have added parts here. These parts are here already because they were added in the work template section and it was populated on the work order. But if you wanted to add new parts, you can do so by navigating here to the Add Part to Work Order button. You click on that plus icon. This window will pop up where you can add the part that you're looking for. I already have this one added, so it's going to tell me I can't add a duplicate. And then you have the ability to add an estimated quantity or the actual quantity. Click on Save, and you'll see it's now populated on the work order viewer. The estimated quantity lets your techs know the estimated quantity they might need to complete the work order. And then when you're filling out the completed information to send the work order to review or history, you're going to put in that information into the actual quantity. This is what's going to pull from the inventory, not the estimated quantity, but the actual quantity. And then once it's sent to review, that is when the part will be removed from the inventory. So this ensures that your inventory levels are automatically updated based on the actual parts consumed during maintenance tasks recorded on completed work orders. Next, let's discuss reordering parts. Antero has a helpful feature called reordered parts. This allows users to manage their inventory levels more effectively. How it works is you set a minimum quantity and a maximum quantity for your parts, and Antero can then flag parts for reorder when their quantity falls below the minimum quantity. So I mentioned this in the last webinar, but I'll show you again. So we go in parts. Here is where you can add that minimum quantity and the maximum quantity. So I have, for example, this fuel filter here set to a minimum quantity of 5, and you'll see that the actual quantity is 4 here. So it's flagged red, and that's going to show up in the reordered parts. Now let's navigate over to the ordering section here on the top right. Click on that, and then you'll find our reorder part section. So a list of parts needing to be reordered is available in the reorder list. Clicking on the reorder parts link there will display all parts that are currently below the minimum quantity defined for that part. When you create a purchase order using this feature, the program will pre-populate the quantity to be ordered based on the maximum quantity set for the part. You can, of course, edit this to just a quantity if needed. This feature helps streamline the procurement process and prevent stockouts by proactively identifying parts that needs replenishment. Moving on to suppliers. Antero allows you to keep track of your plant suppliers, vendors, and manufacturers. This information is managed primarily in the suppliers section, which is located within the parts and ordering section here at the top of the program. In the suppliers list, you can add new suppliers, edit their information, and even add similar suppliers to save time on data entry. The suppliers section provides an overview of details like the address, account number, and any notes. You can also store contact information for the primary contact, and additional contacts can be added and managed. You can also view parts that are assigned to a supplier from the supplier's detail panel. Suppliers are added to the parts from the parts section. So similarly, the equipment tab in the supplier section will display equipment that has a vendor or manufacturer attached as defined at the equipment level. This centralized location for supplier information helps you stay organized and provides quick access to vendor details when needed. So when we're looking at this detail panel here, this is where all of their contact information is. The primary contact name could be located down here. Here's that notes section for any notes you want to add to the supplier. For their contact information, you can add them, edit them, or delete them from this list here. And here you can add the address, city, postal code, state, country, and any comments as well. Down here on the next tab, this is where the parts are associated with the suppliers. This is a read-only section. This is added in the parts section of Antero that we went over in the last webinar. Equipment as well. So related to suppliers is the ordering section. Ordering and receiving is the section of Antero where users can create purchase orders and track and receive the parts ordered. To use the ordering feature effectively, you will need to already have set up your supplier list and created the parts you intend to order. Creating an order is a simple process. You select the create icon and choose the supplier. You can populate details for the purchase order, add notes, estimated cost for shipping, tax, and miscellaneous items. You can add parts to the order in the detail panel, pulling from your existing parts list. Units, item numbers, and unit costs will populate if defined for that part and supplier, but these fields can be modified. Once populated, you can print and email the purchase order from the ordering grid. The estimated parts cost will be calculated. So if we highlight one of the purchase orders here, we can come up and select the print icon, print purchase order, and it's going to pull up this window with the information that is populated on that purchase order. You also have the ability to email it. Just highlight the purchase order that you'd like to email, click on this email section, and it'll pull up a PDF in your computer's default email. Receiving parts is also handled in this section. You select the purchase order and click the Receive Parts link. So we'll click on here. We'll click on Receive Parts. Here, you can record partial receipts and add comments, and once all parts for an order are received, the order will be flagged as complete. So here we have the part name, the description, the warehouse in the area, the item number, the units, the quantity expected, and here is where we would put the quantity received. So if we put 3, not going to let me save because it was already in there. Put 3. We'll actually put the date received, which is required, and then you have the option to add an employee or an invoice number. Now I can click Save, and you'll see that there is a check next to this purchase order because all of the parts in the order were received. Completing the ordering and receiving process in Antero ensures that your inventory is updated in the parts section of the program when parts are received. The ordering section also ties into the reorder parts feature just as we discussed, allowing you to generate purchase orders based on the minimum and maximum quantity settings. You also have the ability to close out the work order. So when there is a check and you have received all of your parts, you can close out this work order. A pop-up will show that lets you know this will close the selected work order, and then you can put, do you wish to continue, yes or no? I'm going to click yes. And you'll see now that this purchase order is closed and it is no longer in my open grid for the open purchase orders. If there's a transaction history for these parts, you'll see so on this tab here to the right. You can update information here, such as the supplier, the purchase order date, account number, purchase order number, the shipping method, the rec number, the date needed by, and any notes. Here's where you will put your estimated costs, and then you will put your actual costs. And then you can also add and edit the shipping and billing address. So I only have one in my database. It's 123 Acorn Street. But if you close out of this, click on the little caret next to ordering, click on address list. You can pull this up where you can add, edit, or delete your addresses for the purchase orders. You also have the option to add a default shipping or default billing, and that will automatically add this address to all of the purchase orders, and then you would have to manually change them as you go if it's different. You can also click on the transactions option underneath address list. This will show all of the transactions for the parts. It'll show the supplier, the date, the invoice number if you added that, and the employee. And it'll show you all of the parts that were received. Next, let's talk about the parts audit. So the audit trail section of Antero, which includes the parts audit, collects user information related to actions performed in the software. The parts audit history tab, which can be found on the parts, by navigating here to this bottom icon down here on the parts section. The history tab specifically allows users to view all parts transfers and stock quantity changes that have been completed with a selected part. This is an information-only section. Data entry is not performed here, as the program automatically displays the completed transfers and stock changes. If no data is shown, it means no transfers or stock changes have occurred for that part. This information displayed in the parts audit includes the date recorded, which is when the audit record was made, the usage date, which is the actual date the part was used and the quantity was adjusted, the source, where the inventory change was applied, the part and description, which is details about the part, the warehouse and area, which is the location at the time of the adjustment, the quantity change, the amount the quantity was adjusted, positive or negative, and the user, the tracked user who completed the quantity change. The audit trail, including the parts audit, is designed to track changes to equipment, parts, work orders, and other information. So you can come up here to the top right, click on the audit trail. This helps users isolate events and understand modifications made within the system. It's important to note that the audit trail is an add-on feature available for Antero 7, so you may need to reach out to us to make sure you are in the latest version. So here you'll find all of the audit information, not just for parts, but for all of Antero, where it'll have an audit ID number, the date, the username of the user who made the change, the application name, the device ID, the Antero section, the action, description, primary value, secondary value, and we can also filter these out by coming up here, clicking on this little filter, and you can add filter rules or filter values. Finally, let's look at the parts reports available in Antero. Antero includes a large number of stock reports covering various areas, including parts. These parts allow users to produce a variety of reports based on the information inside Antero. Report topics are displayed on the left in the report center, and selecting a topic will display all associated parts. So we have our part count sheet, a list of parts and quantities to be used for a physical count. We have the part group report, which is a list of parts grouped by user selection. We have the part report, which is detailed part information. And we have the part usage report, which is details about part usage on work orders. These reports provide valuable insights into your parts inventory, usage, and associated costs, helping you make informed decisions about your maintenance operations and inventory management. You can customize report settings, apply filters, and save reports as memorized reports for future use. And Antero also has a report editor if you need to create custom reports, though you may need to consult with our support for assistance with that. So let's click on the part usage report. I'm going to pull that up. It's going to pull up a PDF version of our part usage report. Up here, you can have a date range, so you can choose all, 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 1, 3, or 5 years, or a custom date range. From the custom date range, you will add the dates here on the report. We scroll through, you'll see items like work order usage, with the name of the part, total quantity used, and the cost. And then we can also customize this. So if we come up to the right, click on Customize, we can display the report title, so we can change the title and the description. We can also add filters. So if you want to search by a specific filter, by a specific part, you can do so by selecting the part drop-down menu, clicking on checking as many or as little parts as you need, click Apply. There's no data for that specific part that I clicked on, but once you do that, it'll filter the part based on what you selected. If we click on the part report here, you'll see we have the details, the part stock with the location, and then the information for the quantity, cost, minimum, and maximum quantity. This is going to be for all time. And again, you can come up and customize the filters by part, product group, product type, equipment type, warehouse, and area. And then you can include or exclude things like show the stocking units, the tracking type, product group, product type, equipment type, notes, and part stock. Here, we'll find the products grouped by equipment type. So you'll find the part name, the description, and any stock locations. Again, you can customize group by, you can do equipment type, product group, or product type. And you can add the filters again as well for the part, warehouse, area, product group, product type, and equipment type. And we have the part count sheet. So this is where you can print out all of the parts that are within Antero, and you can give it to a tech, and then they can go in, have it on a clipboard, and then they can count how many parts there are so you can update your inventory. Again, you can customize it and add those same filters as well. So in summary, we've covered how Antero helps you manage parts throughout the maintenance lifecycle, from associating them with the work orders and tracking usage for accurate inventory, utilizing the reordering feature based on minimum and maximum quantities, managing your suppliers and their contacts, streamlining the purchasing and receiving process through the ordering module, monitoring changes to your parts data with the parts audit trail, and finally leveraging the stock reports to gain insights into your parts inventory. Understanding and utilizing these features within Antero can significantly improve your maintenance data management and inventory control. Now, Daryl is going to jump in to go over our Allmax announcements.
Thank you so much, Emily, and thank you for all who've attended today's webinar. We continue to do these every month and we typically alternate topics between Antero, our maintenance software, and then Operator 10. Speaking of Operator 10, for those who have it, we do have a new update that's coming out that will also introduce the possibility of Operator 10 mobile. And for those that are in Antero, certainly you might have already heard or seen information about Antero mobile as well. Please reach out if you'd like more. I also want to make sure everyone saw our new website that launched last month, and with that, a link to our customer portal. Again, we thank you all for your business. Thanks for coming to these webinars. Please feel free to reach out. You have an email that we'll send out with the recording of the webinar, as well as a feedback link. If there are future topics you would like us to cover, just let us know. Thank you so much. Have a great day.